Rand Paul went on the defensive 2 days after that huge win in the Republican primary. The national media questioned Paul on comments he made a month ago on private business rights, discrimination, and the Civil Rights Act. His win Tuesday night shook politics and politicians across the country, the first big win for the Tea Party movement. Now, Rand Paul finds himself explaining comments he made in an interview with the Courier-Journal a month before the primary. He was asked at that time about whether private businesses should be able to discriminate based on a person's color. Paul said he did not like the idea of telling private business what to do, that he believes in private ownership, but also said, absolutely, there should be no discrimination in anything that receives public funding. Some people took that to mean Paul would not have supported the 1964 Civil Rights Act.
I never said that either. I did say that I have some questions, and there are some questions that I think are debatable because it becomes confusing sometimes about who makes the decisions about smoking in a restaurant, carrying a gun in a restaurant, who comes into a restaurant. And the question is that the government's prerogative or the private owner of the restaurant's prerogative?
In the Courier-Journal interview, Paul liked the idea of more local control versus federal control.
I think in many instances we would rather have more local control of things. And we would like to have say from people who own the property. If you work hard and buy your house, do you have the right to dig a pond in the backyard? So I am a big defender of people who own their property being allowed to use their property.
His opponent for the Senate seat, Democrat Jack Conway, had this reaction, saying Paul has a, quote, narrow political philosophy that has dangerous consequences for working families, veterans, students, the disabled, and those without a voice in the halls of power.
My Democrat opponent now says, oh, he's for repealing the Civil Rights Act. Well, I've never said that, and it's not my position, but it got repeated on a news network all day yesterday that my position was to repeal the Civil Rights Act. I think any kind of racism is wrong. Discrimination, public, private, any kind of racism and discrimination, segregation is wrong.